My wife cried when I bought her a car. I thought it was joy until I found out she gave it to her ex that night. You'll never be more than a backup plan, she texted. I just smiled. And this morning, my phone exploded with 5-6 missed calls and a single word, please. She scratched my name into the hood before handing the car over to her ex. I found out because he posted it on Instagram the same night, standing in my driveway, smiling, flipping me off with one hand, holding her waist with the other. I just dropped 28 grand on that car. No lease. No financing. Paid in full. Title in my name, bow on the roof. Sales guy even took a photo like I was some lifetime husband of the year. She cried when she saw it. Dropped to her knees on the driveway, hand over her mouth like I'd just gifted her the secret to happiness. It was supposed to be a surprise. 3-year anniversary. Her dream car, matte black Challenger, red leather interior, V8. We'd driven past it a dozen times, her fingers trailing across the window, calling it a fantasy. She'd said it like it was impossible. Like I wasn't listening. I was. I always was. And in return, I got the keys to my own humiliation. She waited until I fell asleep. Waited until the second I started snoring, like always, before she crept out. She told her ex, Dean, that I was just a placeholder. That she needed to be financially secured before she could leave. That dumbass finally paid for something useful. He posted her words. Screenshotted the texts. Tagged me. Said, thanks for the ride, chump. I read it at 2:17 a.m. half awake. Staring at my phone in the bathroom like it was a hallucination. I thought it was a prank. A sick joke. Then I opened Find My Phone. She'd left her location sharing on. I watched her little dot blink from our house to his. Watched it sit there. Watched it move again to a liquor store. Then back to his house. Then it went dark. She'd turned it off. By 6 a.m. she still wasn't home. By 7 a.m. the car was gone from the driveway. By 8 a.m. my phone buzzed with messages from friends, coworkers, my sister. Dude, is that your car on Dean's story? Bro, what the fuck happened? You okay? I wasn't. I was beyond that. I was this empty, hollow shape in a bathrobe watching the sunrise through a cracked window, wondering how the hell I got here. But here's the thing. I didn't cry. Didn't rage. Didn't even respond. I smiled. Because something in me had been waiting for this. Not this exact moment, but something like it. Some final, irrefutable proof that I wasn't crazy. That all the little signs, every late night, every flinch when I touched her phone, every weird excuse, meant exactly what I thought they did. This wasn't the first betrayal. Just the first one she broadcast. The night before, I brought her home dinner after work. Thai. Her favorite. I was exhausted, 12-hour shift, screaming clients, a migraine blooming like cancer behind my eyes, but I still stopped. Still smiled. Still said, hey babe, guess what? She barely looked up from her phone. Is it about the car again? She said. No, I lied. Forget it. But she knew. She always knew. She was so good at pretending I mattered. Good enough that I started doubting myself. Gaslight, good. Why are you always so insecure? Good. You don't trust me and that's the problem, good. Turns out the problem was I trusted her too much. That morning she texted me. Can we talk? That was it. Just that. No apology. No explanation. I didn't answer. She called 3 times. I silenced them. Then the calls kept coming. 10, 20, 56 by noon. Then one text. One word. Please. That's when I knew something had changed. Not just regret. Panic. Because I wasn't doing what she expected. I wasn't losing it. I wasn't driving to Dean's to drag her out by her hair. I wasn't exploding in texts or threats or voice messages she could later twist into abuse. I was quiet. And that scared her. See, when someone thinks they've got you pegged, your silence is a loaded gun. So I stayed quiet. I left the house. Didn't tell anyone where I was going. But I had a plan. See, what she didn't know. That car was never in her name. And Dean? Dean had a suspended license. And a warrant. And the moment he posted that car online, with his face in my driveway bragging about stealing it, he could have committed a serious crime by doing that. The moment I file the police report, and I will, it's game over. But I'm not rushing it. Because there's something better than revenge. It's called exposure. And trust me, this story isn't over. It's just getting started. Update 1. She showed up barefoot, mascara smudged down her cheeks, still wearing Dean's hoodie. It was 2:43 p.m. I was sitting in the garage, drinking a Coke and watching the security footage of her sneaking out the night before. I'd already saved it to a USB. Labeled the file, marriage. She didn't knock. Just barged in. I didn't even look up. You're not answering my calls, she said. I raised the Coke in a mock toast. Noticed that, huh? Her eyes darted around the garage like she was expecting an ambush. Dean probably warned her about what, I don't know. But she looked jumpy. You saw his story? She asked. Quiet. I paused the video. You mean the one where he's posing in my car? The one I bought for you? Yeah. I saw it. She sat on the freezer like it was ours again. Like she belonged there. Like this was some argument we were supposed to get over. I was drunk, she said. I wasn't, I replied. Silence. Then she said the line. The one that made my fingers twitch. You don't understand. Dean and I have a history. It's not about love, it's about unfinished emotions. You're reliable. I didn't mean to hurt you. I laughed. Out loud. It startled her. Unfinished emotions? I said. You gave him a $28,000 car and told him I was a backup plan. She blinked. Didn't deny it. I stood up, pulled open the filing cabinet next to the workbench, took out the envelope she signed when I bought the car. Bill of sale. Registered owner, me. Insured driver, me. She never even asked to be added to the policy. I held it up. This. I said. This is what makes me dangerous. Not fists. Not threats. Just this. I tossed the envelope on the floor. You didn't steal that car, I said. He did. Her breath caught. What? I haven't reported it yet. But I will. Probably tomorrow. Unless I let the word dangle. She swallowed hard. Unless what? I stepped close. Unless you get him to return the car. Wash it. Park it exactly where it was. Full tank of gas. Keys on the dash. No scratches. No dents. Her voice cracked. And if he doesn't? Then you get to watch your little fantasy boyfriend get dragged out of his apartment by 4 cops and hit with several serious charges, including theft and parole violation. Contempt. I smirked. Yeah. Because he's been texting threats. Screenshotted every one. Tagged me, remember? She turned pale. Then she said it. I didn't think you'd do this. I thought you'd just scream. Call me names. Leave. You mean act like the guy you think I am, I said. She didn't respond. That night, the car reappeared in the driveway. Washed. Polished. Full tank. Keys on the dash. No note. No apology. Just silence. I still filed a report. Not for the theft. But for harassment. Dean's threats. His DMs. The fact that he came onto private property and claimed the car in my name. Police took it seriously. Turns out when you're calm, polite, and legally airtight, they listen. But here's the kicker. 2 days later, I checked the GPS tracker I'd hidden in the trunk. Dean hadn't gone straight home after getting the car. He drove it briefly to someone else's place. A woman. Older. Married. I reverse searched the address. It's his parole officer's wife. And guess who still had access to the GPS login? Her. My wife. Because the tracker was tied to her email. She gave him the login info when she gave him the car. So I changed the password. Then I printed the GPS report. Then I scheduled a quiet lunch with Dean's parole officer. That was this morning. And that's when the 56 missed calls started. All from her. All after Dean was removed from his job by authorities. She knew what I did. But what she doesn't know yet is what I found in the trunk before I returned the car to the driveway. A flash drive. Labeled insurance docs. But it wasn't. Not even close. Update 2. There were 43 video files on that flash drive. 43. Labeled by date, not titles. No descriptions. Just timestamps months back. Almost a year. I watched the first one sitting on my living room floor with a bottle of water in one hand and the house cat purring against my thigh like it could feel something coming. I should have stopped after 5 seconds. But I didn't. It was security cam footage. Same garage camera I'd installed the day we moved in. Except this was the old angle. From before I adjusted it. When it still faced the passenger side of my car. In it, she's standing by the hood. Wearing a dress I never saw her wear around me. And Dean is there. Not in secret. Not sneaking. He's laughing. Openly. Then they start making out. Right there in my garage. He lifts her onto the hood of my car, the one I used to drive to work every morning, and I had to pause the video before I threw the bottle across the room. That was file 1. By file 5, they were using the garage as a hookup spot. By file 11, they'd moved into our bedroom when I was on business trips. File 17? She's in our kitchen wearing my hoodie, cooking breakfast for him. Eggs. Bacon. Coffee in my mug. He says something too quiet to hear, but she laughs and mouths the word, loser. I didn't even know who she was anymore. But it got worse. Because file 23? That's where it stopped being a fling. That's where the conversation started. They were planning something. Not murder. Not theft. Something worse. Do you think he'll give you access to the brokerage account if you say it's for IVF? That's what Dean asked. She bit her lip and said he's already looking up clinics. If we cry in the counselor's office, he'll do it. Pause. Then she added, and once it's in my name, we can disappear. Just say I had a breakdown and needed to be alone. That was the plan. Fake infertility. Fake a breakdown. Then disappear with my savings. The brokerage account, my long-term investments, wasn't under her name yet. But I told her I was considering making us joint owners. Because I wanted a family. I thought we were building one. Instead, I was funding her escape. And here's the nuclear twist. Video 38? Dean brought another woman to the house. Not her. Someone else. Younger. Blonde. Nervous. She asked him, "Are you sure this is okay?" And he said, "I swear to God, yeah, my sister's out of town. I'm house sitting." He wasn't even telling them the truth. To this girl, my wife was just some sister he was crashing with. So now there were layers. Dean was screwing my wife and cheating on her in my house. With a third party who had no idea any of us existed. And then file 43. The final one. It's a screen recording. My wife's phone. She's on FaceTime with a lawyer. Not our lawyer. Not someone I recognized. She's asking questions about what happens if a joint account holder accidentally empties a brokerage and disappears during a mental health crisis. The lawyer pauses, says something about legal exposure. She laughs. Says no, it's hypothetical. Then ends the call. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't eat. Didn't cry. Just sat there and watched our marriage rot in high definition. The next morning I made coffee. Packed a bag. Went to the courthouse. Filed for divorce. Cited infidelity, fraud, emotional abuse. Attached the flash drive. Then I called her. She answered immediately. Sounded panicked, hopeful. You saw what happened to Dean, right? It wasn't my fault. He did it all. I didn't know. Check your email, I said. Pause. What? Just check it. Click. 5 seconds later, I heard the gasp. You're ending it? No, I said. You ended it. I'm just documenting the crash. But we can talk. I'm going to therapy. I'm changing. You said I was a backup plan. That was Dean. He made me say it. I have video of you laughing about stealing my money. Dead silence. Then the sobbing started. And here's the part no one tells you. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel triumphant. It just feels cold. Like standing on the shore of a burning ship and knowing you could dive in. But there's nothing left worth saving. So you just watch it sink. And that was before the final twist. Because this morning, I got a call. Blocked number. Voice said, hey. I saw the footage. I'm the blonde girl. She'd found my number on a document Dean left in the glove box. She didn't know she was being filmed. Didn't know she was part of any game. She asked if we could talk. Said she found out she was pregnant last week. And Dean? Had disappeared. Update 3. She made a disturbing claim I quickly realized wasn't true. Let me say that again because even now I can't wrap my head around it. My soon-to-be ex-wife found out that Dean's side girl was pregnant. And within 48 hours she faked a pregnancy of her own. With me as the father. Sent me a sobbing voicemail claiming she'd just found out and wanted to tell me in person because she wasn't sure what to do. I played dumb. I asked when she found out. She said 2 days ago. Same day the blonde girl called me. I asked if she had paperwork. She said yes, but the doctor didn't give her the printed results. Just verbal confirmation. So I said, great. Let's go together. I'll drive. I want to be there for you. She panicked. Said she needed time. Said she had another appointment soon. Said everything except what I already knew. She was lying. But what she didn't know. I had already talked to Dean's girl, her name's Rena by the way, and we'd met for coffee the night before. She's not dumb. She's 23, just got out of nursing school and she's pissed. Turns out Dean had told her he was single. Said the house was his. Said he worked in IT security and traveled a lot. Even bought a burner phone just to text her so she couldn't call him during family hours. Rena didn't find out about my wife until she saw my car's title inside the glove box, along with a receipt for a couple's massage in my wife's name. And here's where it gets nuclear. Dean told Rena she was the only one. Told my wife the same thing. Told both of them I was the dangerous one. Said I was unstable, jealous, controlling. Said he was afraid of me. That I'd done time and had rage issues. That if I found out about either of them, I'd snap. So when Rena saw Dean's mugshot after the parole officer yanked him off his job site, she assumed I'd done it. I didn't blame her. But once I showed her the GPS tracker, the security footage, and the full legal paper trail, her face changed. She started smiling. Then she started laughing. Then she asked me a question I never expected. Do you want to ruin them? Like really ruin them? I asked what she had in mind. She showed me screenshots. Texts Dean had sent from his burner. Nudes. Threats. Plans. A whole second digital life I didn't even know existed. He promised to marry her. Said they'd run off together. Said he was only using my wife for housing. Said she was manipulative and pathetic and that crazy chicks are the easiest to control. He was playing all three of us. And he'd been doing it for over a year. So Rena and I made a pact. Not revenge. Closure. Here's how it went down. First, we scheduled a fake ultrasound appointment. One my wife thought I was taking her to. I told her I'd found a private clinic that specialized in early detection. That they could verify everything. She agreed. Rena posed as a nurse at the front desk. Full scrubs. Clipboard. Professional voice. We practiced it the night before like a stage play. Even made up a fake logo and name for the clinic. Rented a suite at a local co-working space with a waiting room. When my wife arrived, she looked like she was ready to faint. Not from nerves. From guilt. You could see it in her eyes, darting, calculating, wondering how the hell she was going to spin this into something believable. We gave her forms to fill out. Asked her to sign a release for ultrasound image access. She hesitated, then signed. After 10 minutes, I told her the nurse needed to prep the room. When she walked in, it was just Rena. No equipment. No table. Just a laptop with the flash drive open and every video queued up. Rena said, "Hi. I'm the girl whose life you tried to steal." And hit play. I stayed in the hallway. Listened. Didn't hear a single word. Just silence. And then, the door opened. My wife walked out. No tears. No apology. Just pale, shaky silence. She didn't say a word. Didn't take her purse. Didn't take her phone. She just left. We haven't spoken since. But Dean? Oh, Dean got the real show. Because remember how I said I filed for divorce? That was just the first wave. The second wave was what I gave the parole board. Everything. The footage. The texts. The threats. The GPS logs. The burner phone metadata thanks to a buddy at my job who knows forensics. Proof he was extorting 2 women while on parole, driving illegally, using stolen property, and lying to his PO. They revoked his parole last week. Back inside for at least 18 months. Rena pressed charges for coercion and unlawful surveillance. Because guess what else we found? He filmed her without consent. In my bedroom. Used the security cam he installed with my wife to keep us safe. The irony? He's getting charged for footage he recorded himself. As for my wife, I finalized the divorce. She tried to fight it. Tried to claim emotional duress. But once my lawyer dropped the USB on the judge's desk, her attorney backed out mid-hearing. Left her standing there alone. She moved back in with her mom. The same woman who once told me I wasn't ambitious enough for her daughter. She emailed me a week ago. Said she hoped we could be friends. Said she learned a lot. Said she's getting help. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to Rena. Rena laughed. Then she Venmoed me $20 with the caption, "For the emotional labor. We're friends now. Just friends. But sometimes we send each other apartment listings with sarcastic comments like, perfect for 2 emotionally traumatized survivors with trust issues and excellent credit." And sometimes? That's enough. Sometimes surviving is the revenge. Sometimes healing is the weapon. And sometimes the most satisfying sound in the world is silence.